世界のみんなとつながろう Bridges across world communities.
Hello and welcome to Bridges Across World Communities, sponsored by NIA, the Nishinomiya City International Association. My name is Floyd.
And my name is Thelma. The purpose of this program is to assist English-speaking residents in the Nishinomiya area by providing useful knowledge for daily living and important information for disaster prevention.
This program is broadcast on the second and fourth Saturday of each month from 12 noon to 12:15.
This month will be featuring information related to the novel coronavirus.
And we'll continue our interviews with people living overseas to get a sense of how they and their communities are responding to the pandemic.
提供は西宮市国際交流協会です。
Well, Thelma, it's been a difficult year so far with this new coronavirus, hasn't it?
Yes, that's true. But things are slowly getting back to normal now, Floyd. In Nishinomiya area, the lifting of the state of emergency in Hyogo Prefecture on May 21st. Even the area around JR Nishinomiya Station, where the NIA and Sakura FM offices are located, has become busy again.
Yeah, it's good to see, but we still need to remain cautious to prevent an even more serious second wave of the virus from spreading.
Yes, that's a good idea. But what's our topic today, this month?
Okay. Well, let's talk about the Japanese government's special cash payment of 100,000 yen per resident. This cash payment plan was set up to support household finances that may have been negatively affected by the state of emergency caused by the coronavirus.
Oh, I know. My family that could use for financial assistance. So maybe we should explain the application process, Floyd.
Okay. In Nishinomiya City, they've been mailing out the application forms to the head of each household since May 25th. Now, has your family received the application form yet?
Yes, we did, and it came in a brown envelope. And it included the application form, instructions included, examples of how to fill up the form, and the return envelope too. And how about, did you get yours too?
Yeah, we got ours, and
Okay.
I was pretty impressed with how simple and organized the form was, but I still had some trouble understanding the Japanese instructions.
Yeah, well, we can always get instruction in English by visiting the Nishinomiya City website and clicking on the novel coronavirus COVID-19 information in multi-language link.
Yeah, and that's what I ended up doing, and then after that it was all pretty clear.
Yes.
Now, for listeners, if you haven't received your application form in the mail by now, please contact the call center immediately at 0570-012438. They're open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
But be aware the call is not free, okay? And costs 10 yen per second.
Now, after you complete and mail the application form back to the city, you'll receive a postcard informing you that the money will be transferred to your account once the screening process is completed.
And the money will be deposited into the account designated by the head of the household within 1 week of the scheduled date listed on the postcard.
Now, some of you may have already received your payment, but if you haven't yet, don't worry. You will definitely receive it as long as you apply before the deadline.
When is the deadline, Floyd?
Good. That's a good question. August 31st. So if you know anyone who hasn't applied yet, please advise them to do so as soon as possible. If they wait until after August 31st, they won't be eligible to receive the payment.
Okay, and what about applying online using the My Number card? I thought we were advising people to do that on last month, right?
Yeah, well, we were, but they ended up having some trouble with the website, so Nishinomiya City is now recommending that everyone apply only by mail.
Okay, and we have few final points to add about the payments.
Nishinomiya City has mailed application forms to all households. But if you've already been successful submitting your application form online, don't send another application form by mail.
And you cannot submit your application form in person at the city offices, okay?
That's right, you can't. And it should take about 3 weeks after applying before you receive the benefits.
And if you apply before the August 31st deadline, you will receive the benefits. No need to worry.
That's right. And for more information about these benefits, contact the call center at 0570-012-438.
Okay, so moving on from the 100,000 yen payment, Floyd, let's talk about where to get information about the new coronavirus.
Okay, well, for medical questions related to the coronavirus, please call the Nishinomiya Health Center at 0798-262240. And they're open every day from 8:45 a.m. to 9 p.m.
And for general questions related to the virus, call the health center at this other number, 0798-350567, and they're open every day from 8:45 to 7 p.m.
It would be best to make the call with someone who speaks Japanese. But if you're on your own and don't speak much Japanese, that's okay too. Just speak English slowly, tell them your name, your country, and your phone number, and they'll have an English-speaking staff member call you back later. Now, you can also use the automatic translation function of the city's website. Just click the multilingual link at the top, select English on the next page, and the entire website will be displayed in English.
And lastly, if you know someone who is in Nishinomiya, temporarily escaping from domestic abuse, and they have not yet been able to change their residence status to Nishinomiya, so the support center may be able to help them receive the government payout at their new residence. Please call. The number is 0798-236011.
So our first guest is Mark from Sweden. Thanks for joining us again.
Hello, Floyd. Nice to be here.
Last month we spoke. Sweden hadn't put in any kind of stay-at-home order or anything like that. Has anything changed in the last 30 days?
Aside from the markings in the stores about where you should stand, I don't see people wearing masks. There's no big lockdown here. The seriousness of this epidemic is not visible in day-to-day life.
It's been in the news quite a bit recently. Criticism about Sweden and the way they've dealt with this, even from other European countries.
We're not allowed to travel into our neighboring countries. They're opening up travel with each other, but they're excluding Sweden. We have about 10 times as many deaths per capita as the neighboring countries. People in other countries are certainly showing their disapproval of the way Sweden has handled this lockdown or lack of lockdown.
Do you think things are going to get back to normal in Sweden?
I think it's going to take years to get to what we thought was a normal. I don't think it will ever get back to the way it was.
So is there anything else that you want to add?
I've enjoyed working at home. So for me, it's not been a real hardship of any sort.
Thank you for joining us again this month. Good luck.
Thanks, Floyd. Nice speaking with you.
Our next guest is Jed Schwartz from Washington, New Hampshire.
Hi, Floyd. Good to be with you again.
Last time we spoke, you were in the middle of a stay-at-home advisory, I believe is what you called it?
That's correct. It's somewhat relaxed, but we have not removed the advisory at this point.
Are people still wearing masks?
It's kind of amazing. There are more people wearing masks now than I've ever seen. It reminds me of Japan.
I got the impression there was a lot of resistance to wearing masks.
There was. What's going on now is some people who are from the hard right side have been actually shaming people who wear masks and telling them that they're afraid. And this is not what our country was built on. It was built on being brave and being fearless. And we're challenged by this attitude. Yeah. I can't say it's everywhere, but there is some of that going around now. That is probably our biggest problem right now. In general, most people seem to be taking this seriously. As you know, we're all dealing with the murder of George Floyd by the police and Black Lives Matter, and people are marching, and we're kind of upside down on top of being upside down in this country right now. Finding something that feels anything close to normal is a struggle. It really is. The only place I find solace is in my garden.
Thank you so much for joining us. Good luck to you and your family.
Sounds good, Floyd. Take care now.
So joining us now, we have Nigel Gillis from New York City.
Thanks, it's great to be here.
Last time we spoke, it sounded like the virus numbers in New York City were kind of leveling off. What's been the big changes you've seen, say, in the last month?
We've seen a tremendous amount of improvement in our area in the recent weeks, and most New Yorkers are still using face coverings and even gloves. A recent development has been the availability of free COVID-19 tests.
Have you taken the test?
I haven't taken it yet, but I plan to.
Last month, you were really missing theaters and museums.
Oh, I still miss those things.
Are they not open yet?
They're not open yet, no.
Do you think that things will ever get back to normal?
I'm sure things will feel more normal once all the businesses have reopened and flight and travel restrictions have been lifted, and once things like PPE and face coverings are less common. Right. But after experiencing something like this, I'm fairly sure things will never really be the same as they were. The people who have lived through it will be a bit different, especially in a place like New York, where people tend to be a little bit more aware of others around them.
Things seem to be improving in New York City. Good luck, and thank you again for joining us this month.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure.
So I'd like to welcome our next guest today, Cassie Kozakov, also from New York City.
Hi, Floyd. It's great to be here.
Can you give us a sense of what has been the biggest change for you?
I made some decisions early on to be on the fairly conservative side as far as my reaction to the virus. I started doing things before they were mandated by governing bodies. So personally, I haven't paid too much attention to how strict or how lax those requirements were because those weren't driving my behavior. That safe behavior was there already.
Now, before the virus, a large part of your work involved traveling around the world.
Travel was a big part of the joy that I got to experience, and now I do feel a little bit stir crazy at home.
Do you have sources of information that you can rely on and trust?
When I thought about what information I would need, I considered it from the perspective of what decisions I would make.
Yeah.
I had to do a fair bit of a slog through epidemiological sources. I actually go straight to the scientific publications myself. When a scientist writes, it is filled with caveats. It is, well, we didn't actually account for this factor. Well, we didn't actually have that much data. Well, this, well, that. There's a much more honest view of the nuances. That's why I prefer to go to those sources. Then I feel like I can make higher quality decisions on the basis of that.
What are you most looking forward to when we get over the worst of this?
Oh, that is easy.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to be on a plane again.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Cassie.
Thanks so much for having me, Floyd.
Joining us now is Nicole from Vancouver, Canada.
Hi.
You're actually a Anishinaabe resident.
Yep.
So what are you doing in Vancouver?
Finishing up university.
We didn't talk to you last month, so we don't really have a sense of how you've been affected by the coronavirus.
Well, I guess one big thing is classes were canceled, and so classes were continued online, and I had a part-time job, and unfortunately I was let go because of the virus.
How long ago was that?
It was around March.
Does the government provide any kind of financial assistance for people who've lost their jobs due to the virus?
Yeah, I feel really fortunate. You can get up to $2,000 a month for a maximum of 4 months.
And you were able to do that?
Yeah, I'm a Canadian citizen, so I was eligible.
Is the process kind of complicated and difficult?
Oh, it was actually a lot easier than I thought it would be. Everything is online. First, you sign in, you just answer a few questions, and then they deposit the money into your bank account.
How long before you got money in your account?
Maybe 5 days, less than a week.
Wow.
Yeah, I was really surprised. It almost seemed too easy.
So it sounds like the financial aid was helping you cope with the situation.
Yeah, that, and then also the Prime Minister said that during this time, landlords aren't allowed to kick out their tenants if they're not able to pay rent. So I felt protected. There was like some security that we wouldn't lose our homes.
Thank you, Nicole, for joining us today. Hope to see you back here in Japan one day.
Me too.
I would like to welcome our last guest on today's program, Carl Frederick from Marin County, California.
Hey, Floyd.
What's new?
What's new? Well, I was over at a friend's house yesterday. We've been doing these little things where we'll go over and sit in somebody's yard, or they'll come over and sit in our yard, and we sit 6 or more feet apart and have our own drinks and our own food. And then we talk about whatever. You know, it's like, I don't know. What's that old saying or song or whatever? When you're at the bottom, there's nowhere to go but up.
I've been asking people, as time went on, did they find it more difficult or less difficult to be self-isolating and staying at home?
I'm finding it more difficult. Even though it seems like we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel here, it's just the weight of all these things happening at the same time. It's just had a hard effect on me, feeling kind of disconnected from everything.
Do you think that things will ever get back to normal?
Well, if we get a vaccine, probably be about the same as before. How many vaccine trials are in progress? 123 or something ridiculous. So it seems likely that we will get something.
Okay, Carl, thank you for joining us again this month.
My pleasure.
And good luck to you and your family.
Thank you. Same to you and everybody there.
Even with the lifting of the state of emergency, NIA continues to take measures to prevent the spread of the coronavirus.
We are gradually resuming one-on-one Japanese language classes and have also started Japanese group lessons using Zoom.
We'll resume other activities and events according to situations, so please check the NIA website and Facebook for the latest information. And state of emergency has been lifted, but we must all continue to do what we can to stay healthy.
So wear a mask, wash your hands thoroughly, and gargle.
And when you go out, please avoid the 3 C's: closed spaces, crowded places, in close contact.
And lastly, if you need help, please don't hesitate to contact NIA at 0798-328680 or write an email to nia@nishi.or.jp.
敵は西宮市国際交流協会でした。Stay
Stay safe,
safe, everyone,
everyone.
and have a nice weekend.